More than 5,000 NHS non-urgent operations have been cancelled in England ahead of a 48-hour strike by junior doctors, set to begin at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. NHS England said the walkout, the first since Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt's decision to impose a new contract on junior doctors, but the third since the dispute began, will mean a difficult couple of days. After two 24-hour strikes and months of negotiations, which failed to bear fruit, Hunt announced last month that he would impose the contract to end uncertainty. As well as the 5,264 cancelled operations, an unknown number of consultations at outpatient clinics will be affected. Junior doctors who work in emergency departments will not join the walkout, but NHS England warned that hospitals would be under additional pressure and urged people to avoid going to A&E departments where possible. Dr. Anne Rainsbury, National Incident Director for NHS England, said, "This is clearly going to be a difficult couple of days. A 48-hour strike will put significantly more pressure on the NHS, and the cumulative effect of these recurring strikes is likely to take a toll. As a doctor, I pledged to do no harm, so I must strike against unsafe care." Harriet Nerva. Read more. The safety and care of patients is always our number one priority, and staff across the NHS are doing all they can to minimize the impact on patients of the action. We will closely monitor events as they unfold to ensure plans to deal with the pressures are robust and people are ready to respond to any emerging difficulties. The dispute over pay, working hours, and patient safety has become increasingly embittered, and Hunt's attempt to end the impasse by imposing the contract has been met with defiance by the British Medical Association, BMA, which is attempting to challenge the decision through judicial review. The union, which represents 38,000 junior doctors, 98% of whom voted to strike in a November ballot, had said its members have no confidence in the new contract. One of the key sticking points is over the removal of overtime payments, which junior doctors currently receive for working during the day, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., on Saturdays. The BMA wanted to continue with the current system whereby trainee medics receive supplementary payments for working after 7 p.m. on weekdays, which Hunt is extending to 9 p.m., and at any time over the weekend. The Health Secretary defends the changes as necessary to deliver the government's pledge of a 7-day NHS, which he says will improve patient care and will tackle higher death rates among weekend admissions. The BMA counters that the amendments will jeopardize patient care, by removing safeguards preventing junior doctors from having to work dangerously long hours and adversely affecting pay and morale. The stories you need to read, in one handy email. Read more. A Department of Health spokeswoman said, patients have so far seen more than 19,000 operations cancelled as a result of the BMA's irresponsible and unjustified industrial action. The new contract, 90% of which was agreed with the BMA, and endorsed by senior NHS leaders, is a very good deal for doctors and the NHS. It will mean an average 13.5% basic pay rise with a cap on the number of long shifts worked to improve safety. We urge junior doctors to look at the detail of the contract and the clear benefits it brings. There are usually 31,000 operations in the NHS on any given day, so the total cancelled, 5,264, represents about 8.5% of the total that would usually be carried out over the 48-hour period, 62,000. About 4,000 operations were cancelled ahead of the first walkout, on January 12, and about 3,000 ahead of the second strike, on February 10, but in those instances, the industrial action lasted for only 24 hours.